Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a story that's been making waves internationally: South Africa, the United States, and a surprising offer from former President Donald Trump that's been firmly rejected. If you're curious about the drama unfolding between these two nations, stick around because we're breaking it all down. The backstory: a diplomatic spat heats up recently. South Africa and the United States found themselves in a tense diplomatic standoff. The US, under Trump's executive order, decided to cut nearly $440 million in financial aid to South Africa. Why? Well, the Trump administration claims it's due to South Africa's controversial land reform policies and its decision to take Israel to the International Court of Justice over allegations of genocide. But here's where it gets interesting. Alongside the aid cuts, Trump extended an unexpected offer to white South Africans, specifically the Afrikaner community, descendants of Dutch and French settlers. He proposed resettling them in the US as refugees, citing concerns over alleged racial discrimination and land confiscations. Sounds dramatic, right? Well, the response from the Afrikaner community might surprise you.
We don't want to move elsewhere. We are not going to ask our children now to move to another country. The fact is, our ancestors worked hard to make sure that we as a people are formed down the southern tip of Africa. We're not going to disrespect that. We also have the interests of future generations in mind. We also have to make sure that our culture is transferred to future generations.
We may disagree with the ANC, but we love the country. As in any community, there are individuals who wish to immigrate, but the repatriation of Afrikaners as refugees is not a solution for us. We want to build a future in South Africa.
And the people are carrying on like normal. And, what are you going to do over there? Are they going to pay for the equipment and the seed and the land and the ground? And how are you going to pay it off? You're going to start right from scratch again? I wouldn't.
The offer: a lifeline or a political move? Trump's offer was framed as a humanitarian gesture, suggesting that white South Africans were facing persecution and needed refuge. However, the Afrikaner community, despite being a minority in South Africa, quickly shut down the proposal. Even pro-Afrikaner groups, who had previously lobbied the Trump administration for support, rejected the idea outright. One representative stated, "We don't want to move elsewhere. Our ancestors worked hard to build a life here, and we're not going to disrespect that. We want to stay and build a future in South Africa." This rejection highlights a crucial point. While there are disagreements with the current government, many white South Africans feel deeply connected to their homeland and aren't looking to leave. The land reform debate. What's really happening? At the heart of this controversy is South Africa's land expropriation law, which allows the government to seize land without compensation under certain circumstances. Critics, including Trump and his advisors, argue that this policy unfairly targets white landowners, who own more than 70% of the country's farmland, despite making up less than 10% of the population. However, the South African government insists that the land reform process is necessary to address historical inequalities stemming from apartheid. They've also clarified that land won't be seized forcefully and that the goal is to promote equitable access to resources. Interestingly, many within the Afrikaner community say they aren't experiencing the level of persecution or land seizures that Trump's offer implies. One farmer put it bluntly, "If you haven't got any problems here, why would you want to go? Life is going on as normal." Going on as the US-South Africa relationship, a complicated dynamic. Trump's decision to cut aid and extend the resettlement offer has strained diplomatic ties between the two nations. South Africa's government has called the move ironic, pointing out that the Afrikaner community remains one of the most economically privileged groups in the country. Adding fuel to the fire, the US also decided to boycott the G20 foreign ministerial meeting in Johannesburg, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio accusing South Africa of having an anti-American agenda. In response, South African officials have warned the US against bullying and have vowed to promote their G20 agenda globally. The bigger picture: misinformation and misrepresentation. Political analysts suggest that Trump's actions may be influenced by misinformation campaigns led by right-wing lobby groups. These groups have been accused of exaggerating issues like farm murders and land seizures to paint a dire picture of life for white South Africans. For example, while farm murders are a serious issue, statistics show they account for less than 1% of total homicides in South Africa, and victims are often black South Africans. This misrepresentation has fueled a narrative that doesn't align with the reality on the ground. The impact: who really suffers? While the diplomatic spat has made headlines, the real consequences are felt by those who rely on US aid. Countries like Uganda, which depend on American support for healthcare initiatives like HIV treatment and contraception, could face significant challenges if aid cuts continue. In South Africa, the loss of $440 million in aid is a blow, but not a catastrophic one. The country's economy is diverse, and the government has assured citizens that essential services won't be disrupted. However, the broader implications for US-Africa relations remain uncertain. What's next? So where does this leave us? Trump's offer to white South Africans has been firmly rejected, and the diplomatic tensions between the US and South Africa show no signs of easing. While the Afrikaner community has made it clear they're staying put, the broader debate over land reform and racial inequality in South Africa continues to spark global interest. As for the US, its approach to foreign policy under the Trump administration has been anything but conventional. Whether this strategy will change in the future remains to be seen. What do you think about this situation? Should the US be involved in South Africa's internal policies, or is this an overstep? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis of global news stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
We don't want to move elsewhere. We are not going to ask our children now to move to another country. The fact is, our ancestors worked hard to make sure that we as a people are formed down the southern tip of Africa. We're not going to disrespect that. We also have the interests of future generations in mind. We also have to make sure that our culture is transferred to future generations.
We may disagree with the ANC, but we love the country. As in any community, there are individuals who wish to immigrate, but the repatriation of Afrikaners as refugees is not a solution for us. We want to build a future in South Africa.
And the people are carrying on like normal. And, what are you going to do over there? Are they going to pay for the equipment and the seed and the land and the ground? And how are you going to pay it off? You're going to start right from scratch again.